Hey everyone, Evan Kirstel. Today we are live from Channel Partners at the Channel Expo in Vegas with the CPAS Acceleration Alliance. Excited to have you gentlemen here from your various hotel rooms. I assume hopefully on strip and not 60 miles away somewhere in the desert. Kevin, you're the master of ceremonies here. Maybe just introduce yourself for the folks and the CPAS Acceleration Alliance.
Sure. Thanks for having. We're excited to be together here in Vegas at Channel Partner. It's a great annual event. Um, I represent the CPAS Extinction Alliance, and where we are building a community around the world, help really accelerate and the adoption of communication platforms, customer experience, and CPAS technology. We work with vendors, service providers, analysts, media partners, building a robust community to help the industry. And that's why we're excited to be here at Channel Partners as we see the channel as a key growth area moving the industry forward.
Love it. CPAS AA. Follow us on Twitter, on the web, the mailing list to get all the updates. And I think Kevin, you've created a new 7-letter acronym with CPAS AA, KPASA, as we call it for short. Congratulations on that. It's always a challenge to come up with new acronyms in the telecom and networking arena.
That's
So
right.
you did it. You did it. Let's go around the horn here. Robert, perhaps introduce yourself and your interest in CPAS.
Yeah, Robert Gallup. I've actually been working with Kevin for a good bit. We're contributing to the CPAS Acceleration Alliance. Kevin and I just founded Creo Solutions, and we launched it yesterday, just as a part of Channel Partners, which is perfect timing because what we're focused on is really taking the CPaaS players of the world and combining that with the various channel partners and making it easier for all of the agents out there to really sell the services that come along for the ride with CPaaS. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit, but yeah, we're very excited to be launching that this week.
Busy week. And David from Cinch, the cloud communications uh, experience platform. Is that how I might describe what you do, or maybe I botched it?
No, I wouldn't say you botched it. Right, Cinch is one of the largest CPaaS providers in the world, so right fits right in with what we're doing here. Really bringing those services, our service in the channel, along with other providers, in a meaningful way to educate the partner channels about what CPaaS is, what can be done, how we can all have success, right? All as a combined community here, and advance the idea forward.
Well, it's going to be a busy week for you in the channel space this week. Good luck with that. And we have Shane from Telarus. Maybe introduce yourself. And I think most people in our industry know you, but maybe a quick introduction
Yeah, thanks.
to what you do.
Top of the morning, Shane Speakman, and I'm head of UCaaS here at Telarus, technology solutions brokerage firm. We are one of the largest in the CX space, which includes that amalgamation of UC and CC and CPaaS. Excited to be here. Our partners globally account for a large portion of that CPaaS revenue, and we're seeing this as a fun category to chat about and watch the growth.
Yeah, and for Telarus, you must have every customer there in one place at Channel Partners. So
Yep.
going to
We've
be a
got a
busy.
few thousand of our closest friends here this week in Vegas.
And there's no partying going on. It's just pure business, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. I'll believe you. But so Kevin, give us an update on KPASA, the organization, and a new piece of research, a report that is just about to be released on the state of the union for CPaaS.
Yeah, no, it's exciting around here. The response to the alliance and the ability to kind of build this community has been extraordinary. We feel super blessed around how people have contributed and participated and joined us here in this mission. We've got a lot going on, but the thing I wanted to highlight this morning is really the work that we've been doing around what we call the state of CPaaS 2023. It's our first report as the new alliance, as KPASA. And we've been doing that in collaboration with industry analysts. We've been fortunate to work with most of the large firms that are out there around the world, and work with their data and their analysts around what they're seeing in the market. We're also working with our members. We'll be announcing here in a couple of weeks, but we're approaching more than 20 members now since our launch, which is
I'm sorry, how many
incredible.
members? You cut out there a moment.
I think we're going to be over as we have our kind of our first reach and announcement of who's going to be part of the group. And so that's exciting, but I think that shows the power and the opportunity that's around CPaaS. It's really a key area of growth. As we looked at the report, we took a little different angle than you might from a normal, kind of what you see from an analyst report, where we wanted to focus or less on maybe the technology or the actual market numbers, but more about what are the macro trends and use cases that will actually those numbers. And so we're highlighting 6 different macro trends that I think are really interesting and will really expand both the definition as well as the market of what CPaaS can deliver, which is super exciting. But with the excitement, there's always challenges as well. And so, we'll highlight 3 key challenges. We think whether you're a direct CPaaS player, or whether you're in the channel, or whether you're a CSP vendor, these are key challenges that you'll need to really take a look at and figure out to really deliver on the success and the opportunity that's out there for you. We'll be distributing this in about 2 weeks, and so give the report, cover the details. But one of the things we're here at Channel Partners is because we see a broader distribution base as one of the macro trends growing the CPaaS base. I think that's what's interesting here at Channel Partners. I think CPaaS is a newer product, a newer service come into the channel, but the deal sizes are interesting. The use cases are very interesting, and we feel that if you're in the UCaaS space or the CCaaS space, you can actually double your wallet size by layering CPaaS around those services that you're already selling today. And so that will see a lot of growth going forward. The top line numbers, we're looking at probably moving $16 billion as an industry last year. And we're predicting that we'll be over $100 billion by the end of the decade. So clearly the fastest growing sector of our industry, and there's just a lot of excitement, interesting use cases, and most importantly, real impact for businesses and consumers as they are able to use services.
Fantastic. Now, if we could just get good Wi-Fi in a hotel in Las Vegas, I think CPaaS would really rocket from there. But Kevin, you've been a long time industry insider. What do you see necessary to grow this industry from, 16 billion last year to 100 billion in 2030, for example?
I think that question was for me. So as Kevin mentioned, we've got 6 trends, but one of the biggest pieces is the new paths to market for CPaaS. So we've spent a lot of time on the alliance side talking to CSPs globally. We're seeing a lot of opportunity in areas of the world that you haven't necessarily seen growth yet. Middle East, Africa, Southeast Asia. Huge opportunities, and we're seeing some phenomenal use cases and success stories out of those regions that we're excited to actually get those back here to the US and to Europe. The other area, and that's why we're here at Channel Partners this week, is the opportunity to really get CPaaS humming in the channel space. It's been a challenge. You mentioned I've lived the dream for the last 5-6 years. Educating the market and helping get CPaaS pushed through the channel. We're to the point now to where we've got enough really good use cases, and we have enough services built up around CPaaS that we can start to make it consumable for the channel partners. So we're really excited to get that momentum going, and that's really going to help the market take off. There's some other pieces out there, especially around the telco space, where we're seeing, and I don't want to give too much away out of the paper, but we're seeing a lot of effort around standardization of services across networks, which if you're a CPaaS player, you know that it's very difficult to pull in services from all the different telcos out there. But biggest pieces are really what we're seeing is the path to market and the better use cases that are really starting to get people's attention.
Got it. And Shane, when you talk to your customers, do you have to first explain the acronym CPaaS, or can you dive right in with a discussion on the value of participating in this marketplace?
So you think about the base of selling partners, it's interesting, and Robert would agree with this based on his history in this industry. We have a large contingent of former telecom sellers in this portion of the channel, and that migration that has taken us from selling long distance PRIs through this digital evolution into what is now one of the most effective and popular ways to communicate. We're seeing that, yes, the moniker by a telecom standard is one that fits in the thousands that we like to throw around, but the messaging and understanding that this is the way that especially our youth, and as we become more efficient in our communications as consumers, we expect this. And I think that ultimately we're seeing really quick adoption. This kind of reminds me actually of SD-WAN of 2000 and maybe 13, 14, where it was just an idea, or this SDN was just an idea. And as we all know, it's common practice to sell SD-WAN with a circuit these days, especially when you think about what we layer on top of it. So I see that as CPaaS and kind of eating into or maybe augmenting some of that CX market that we see that's so strong from the traditional telco partners.
What does the sort of the value chain look like for CPaaS from your perspective? I mean, traditionally you've had 1-tier and 2-tier distribution, and you've had managed services and integrators. That those are well-known models. But what does a model look like for CPaaS, for example, at some place like Channel Partners?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you, for us, based on our experience, when new technology enters this market, we've got really bright consultants as partners, and we've found that with a large base of customers that this selling contingent works with, it's the route to market for new technologies is pretty quick, and so we can see that growth projection come to fruition really quickly after an event like this because of the broad-based exposure. The other is we're seeing mass adoption by really large Fortune 100 companies and customers, and so when we have really large deals enter the channel and close, it creates a buzz, a stir. And, back when really large CCaaS deals started to enter into our channel, that also drove the market. It drove decision making and strategy within the partner community, and we're seeing a lot of that with CPaaS as well. This show will definitely have a large component of CPaaS, and that will be a lot of the talk. Messaging, rich communication services, and such will definitely drive this part of that conversation here.
Excellent. Sounds like we need a post-show debrief on some of the talk and excitement from this week. And Dave, you're in the center of the storm here. I mean, the CPaaS Acceleration Alliance is all about education and insights and enabling sort of a rising tide to lift all boats. But as a center of this whole storm here, what's the perspective from Cinch?
Yeah, it's right in line with what everybody said, right? Going back to what your question to Shane to start about, right? How do people explain CPaaS, and do they know what it is? I think Shane and I both, travel around and talk at all these shows. And usually when I get a group of partners together, the first thing I say is, can anybody tell me what CPaaS is, and not just communication platform as a service, right? Give me the 20-second definition. And you get a lot of blank stares, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think people are a little bit either new or confused or trying to figure it out, and they're not sure they want to answer that yet, right? It goes back to all these other technologies we've all sold in the past. and trying to figure out what it is to them, which is great for all of us, right? That's what we're all doing here, is trying to educate people. And I think not from necessarily even, right, Cinch being a provider, and I want everybody to think Cinch. I think there's a global community of trying to get the message out, all of us, all the other providers, to say, right, this is what CPaaS is and what it allows you to do, right, and really where the opportunity is. And then that steps into the way that I think, right, and you would all probably agree that channel learns best, is to go win. And you win a CPaaS deal, right? I say CPaaS, and that has different flavors. When you win, it's that visibility into, I get it, right? I get this, and I get not only where I won here and I can replicate it, but how it also fits into other customers or other models or other sales cycles that I'm working on. So it's, right, all of us doing the education. We are in the middle of it, right? I talk about this every day. It's CPaaS in my world, messaging, what's coming next, which has been super fun, not only because it's a newer messaging channel, also, right, I am one of those old telecom guys, so to me this is new, and I'm learning something every day, and I feel like I'm young again and re-energized. So it's a pretty good time to be in the industry pushing the CPaaS message.
It is indeed. And up till a few short years ago, you could count on one hand the number of players in this space. It was dominated by a couple 800-pound gorillas. But are you getting the message out? How much is just selling versus educating the marketplace on Cinch and your sort of value?
I think it's both, right? It's probably more education right now as we walk people into what that looks like, right? Who are you looking for? Where can you win? What does it mean to win? What are you selling? Because in a lot of situations, right, Shane mentioned these Fortune 100s, right? These big companies come in. A lot of times they're not even asking the right question, right? So as a partner, to be educated and to enter that conversation with somebody and start it with, what's your mobile strategy, right? Which isn't a question most of the channels ever asked. And where are you going? And, platform-based questions to lead them to where we think they all, they need to know, right? You need to communicate as a business, especially a large business, with your consumers on the channel that they're on most of the time and want to be communicated on. And that's really where CPaaS bakes into this, is how do you know that and how do you do that? Because that, as a business, you're going to have the most impact and most success in communication with your customers.
Wow, great insights. And Robert, it wouldn't be a multi-tens of billion-dollar market if it didn't create some startups, some new entrants. Tell us about your new venture and what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, so we're excited. Haven't been in the industry for a while. We've heard Shane and we've heard Dave talk. CPaaS has always been about what's next and building more within the business, right? The channel does a phenomenal job getting in and selling UCaaS, selling CCaaS. But what are you doing next with the customer? And the great thing about CPaaS is that it's enabling those platforms underneath, and then it's enabling you to get out and touch the entire rest of the organization, the entire rest of the customer journey. So I'll give you a quick example. One of the areas we're focused on here, and we'll be working with the channel on, is getting into service businesses and people that are scheduling meetings with customers, people that are providing service to customers. CPaaS enables you, as Dave mentioned, what's your mobile strategy? CPaaS enables you to schedule meetings with those customers directly on their mobile phone, reach out to them and check on their pulse and see what the customer experience is looking like at every touch point. Bring that back and make the business better. And CPaaS is enabling all of those little communications touch points. What the challenge has been is, okay, now I need this other tool. And when you look at all of the tools that are in the channel partners tool belt right now, a lot of these players that are touching the scheduling, that are touching the customer experience, don't necessarily sell through the channel today. So we're bringing those all together. So that we've got some pre-packaged use cases that we can bring back out, make it super easy to have the conversation, super easy to sell. And then it's just one after another. And as Kevin mentioned, you can easily 2x your revenue after that UCaaS or CCaaS sale by adding on all of these little things. So we're really excited to start bringing those out. Things like Cinch's chatbot, we can bring that in and tie it in with these other tools. So really excited about what's to come. We had some great conversations yesterday, and looking to keep the train going today.
Kevin, what's next on your radar? I can't keep track. You're sort of everywhere all at once. all the time, different continents, in Vegas this week for the Channel Partners Expo. What's next? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, we've got a couple of things. Obviously, we've mentioned the report that'll be coming out in a couple of weeks, and so there's been a lot of work put into that. And the report will also include some of our key members and their use cases that I think we can all learn from. So I think that's really interesting. And then we'll be launching another 2 months of sessions where we'll be focusing on the analyst community. So we're hoping every week or two to have a session with some of the top analysts in the space, and then a separate session with members and their customers and so forth. So we'll be herding some more cats to try and get that organized and give everyone an opportunity to share their stories and educate the end users and kind of the art of what's possible. But what's really going to keep us busy is we've announced what we're calling the CPaaS Acceleration Summit, which we will be hosting in Amsterdam, September 18th through the 20th. I believe it to be the first for our industry to have a dedicated conference for all the CPaaS players up and down the stack, depending on distribution, what, if you're a CSP, a direct seller, it doesn't matter. Vendors, we're all going to be there to really have an in-depth conversation about our space, what's important, where to focus, what we can learn, and those types of things. So have the eye on Amsterdam in September. We'll be taking up a bulk of my summer.
Fantastic. Well, that's super exciting. Question on the report: how does one access it, and how much is it? 5K, 10K, 20K? What's the price of this?
The price is free. The goal here
okay.
is to really get a broad distribution on this because it's the first of its kind. And so we really we'll be working through all of our members and getting through their distribution as well, because there's a message here that will help all of our members as to educate the market. So when Shane talks to his partners and Dave is working with their partners, we hope that what we bring together in this report will actually help them close more deals as we educate, enterprises, businesses, what's possible and how they can really help their customer experience their own end users.
Oh, that's so exciting. Can't wait to get my hands on it. Dave, what are you looking forward to in particular this week? Any shows coming, any Broadway shows in the evening, comedy shows, or is it all business all week?
It's mostly all business for me. What happens at night happens at night, right? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. No, this is exciting. Right? This is the first year that I think the Cinch brand is more known. We were here last year, right? It's kind of, we've been several companies, right? Acquisitions, mergers. So I think this is the first year at the show that the name's out there. And people may not have a really good idea about what we do, but they've heard the name Cinch. And even if they haven't, right, it gives a chance to just meet the new folks, talk to the people we've always known. It's always a good week. The results are always good. Good to see everybody. Good to push the message, kind of explain what we're doing, right? Introduce a new acronym, get them trained on selling a new product, get them excited about it. Good time.
Fantastic. Well, good luck to you. And Shane, what about you? And you sort of wining and dining your 2,000 customers here in Vegas. What else are you looking forward to?
Well, this definitely is a great event. We've got a lot of meetings with suppliers and with partners. This is almost like a high school reunion. We've been to enough of these that it's hard to walk down the hall, but it's great to see all of our friends. What's great is to feel the energy at these, especially when you consider new technologies like CPaaS start driving a lot of interest. It's certainly a lot of work. We managed to fit in a little bit of fun. This is just one stop in, I would say, the global tour that we have here at Telarus, where we as well are on the path of educating partners and users and working to help architect these deals that are really accomplishing what end users are really looking for, which is, again, a new method of communication. So you'll see us all over the globe, from Australia to London to Canada and all over the major cities in the States over the next summer.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, gentlemen. Thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of Channel Partners, and thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you until next time. Take care.